Big Mom is defeated, and the Supernova are victorious, in specific, Law and Kid. Now, what does that mean for this story? Now, by the title, you obviously see that Law and Kid have officially changed the world, and one might think, what do you mean by that, Jay? I think we need to have a dialogue about what's about to happen post-Wano now that Big Mom has officially been defeated by Eustace, Captain Kidd, and Law. Think about what the structure of this world is. We have the Yonko, we have the Admirals, we had the Shichibukai. The Shichibukai is already down. The Yonko are currently in the process of being defeated, with Kaido most likely going down this arc, Big Mom already down this arc, and then Shanks is in jeopardy, and then we have Blackbeard. And one thing that we know about this era, it's called the Great Pirate Era. This is the golden generation of pirates. And who does that encompass? That encompasses the Supernova, and you include Blackbeard in that as well. Now, I'm not quite certain. I don't think Blackbeard is considered a Supernova, but in the sense, he is part of the new pirate era. Big Mom, Kaido, and Shanks and Whitebeard were all part of the older era. Shanks, I guess, is kind of in the middle. I would say Shanks is more aligned with Blackbeard per se, but he's part of the old structure. So let's just leave Shanks in that middle ground for now. The point that I'm trying to make here is that with the victory of Law and Kid, the world is changing, the structure is changing. The Yonko will be no more. Now you're asking, okay, why? Why would the Yonko be no more, Jay? Because we had announced with Luffy when he went to Whole Cake Island and defeated Big Mom, Big News Morgans announced to the world that Luffy is the 5th Yonko. Now, we may not believe that's true because, no one really knows if the government actually gives the Yonko their title, and people say, okay, well, Luffy needs territories, he needs a little more power, all these other things. What we know for sure is that the world believes that Luffy is a Yonko because of what Big News Morgan said. What makes it different with Law and Kid is that, one, it was a tag team. Two, Luffy's not just getting the credit anymore. It's not a case of, okay, we're keeping the same structure, Luffy's just the 5th Yonko. Now the structure is falling apart. The Supernova, the Great Pirate Era, they're reshaping the world. And we already have the Shichibukai gone as is, the Warlords. I hate saying Shichibukai, it takes too long to say. The Warlords are gone. So the structure's already in jeopardy. You've got a Yonko that's already down. Kaido's gonna be down. So now you're down to 2 Yonkos, and you just have Blackbeard, and Shanks. And then say you have Luffy. But what about Law and Kid? Are they gonna become Yonko? I don't think that's the case. Think about the propaganda that's gonna be spread. It's not gonna be Law and Kid, the 6th and 7th Yonko, or the new Yonko that have replaced Kaido and Big Mom. No, the headline is the Great Pirate Era led by the Supernova, which means I think the whole Yonko idea is going to be split. Remember, we're still going to have a great war. I believe the Supernova, all 10 of them, are going to have a massive part in this war. And as a result, the classification of Yonko will be scrapped just for the Supernova. And I think Law and Kid are the 2 people that will lead the Supernova charge. So it's no longer just Luffy being the star of the show. It's no longer just, this is all credit going to Luffy. Law and Kid have taken down a Yonko, an immovable force, a force thought to never be challenged by other pirates. Only the Admirals, another force in that Great Pirate Era, has come to the front. Which means, what does that mean for the world? It means the world has changed. And this is where we cash in on the title here. This is not clickbait. This is where we cash in. The world has changed. The structure has changed. There's going to be chaos everywhere. What is Orochi doing? What's going to happen with Jewelry Bonnie? Because Jewelry Bonnie was there for the clash between the Revolutionaries and the Marines. So we don't know what's going on with Bonnie as well. So there's still major players. We have Drake, we have Apu, we have Hawkins. There's Supernova littered everywhere with every single major event. The government are gonna have to look at these Supernova and realize these guys are our #1 targets now. They're taking down Yonko now, and they're teaming up. The special part about it is that a lot of them are forming alliances. So they're fighting together and then separating and causing chaos, which is arguably more toxic than just having the Yonko, because at the very least you have powerful figureheads like Big Mom and Kaido to control everything around them. They were subjugating the supernova. So everyone thought, well, we just keep the same structure in place and everything's is going to be okay. That structure is dying. It's gone. Now the government's like, well, we got to keep an eye on Apu. We got to keep an eye on Drake. You know, Drake is a part of Sword, but this is hypothetically here. We got to keep an eye on Kid for sure. We got to keep an eye on Law, Luffy, Zoro now has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. He's going to be a major issue as well. Hawkins, he may be down and out, but he's still a supernova. So that's what's happening to the world. The world is changing before our very eyes. And I think what's impressive about this is, look at what it's going to do for Kid, in particular, Kid and Law. Eustace Kid was notorious for his heinous crimes pre and post time skip. That's mainly where his infamy came from. The high bounty, obviously he's strong as well, so we considered him to be a rival of Luffy. But now, it's no longer just the atrocities. It's no longer just the random alliances. It's no longer portrayal. Oh, he fought Shanks, and he fought Big Mom, and he fought Kaido and survived. Now it's Kid played a massive role in beating Big Mom. That's a different level of perception for Kid in the world in general. Now instead of just the atrocities, now it's gonna be, oh, this guy's strong enough to take down a Yonko. Now all of a sudden, when Kid is roaming around and you see his flag, the first thing they're thinking of is, that's Eustace Kid. That's the guy he helped take down Big Mom. He took down a Yonko. And then the same perception goes with Law. And Law, even to a greater degree, because he was already involved with the government beforehand. He took down Doflamingo. He took down the Smile Factory. He took down large portions of the underworld that was connected with the Marines. He shook up the world in general. Remember that speech he had in Punk Hazard about, we're shifting gears here. We're causing chaos in this world. And then you see Law go from a Shichibukai, take down a celestial dragon, or have a hand in taking down a celestial dragon. Obviously, Luffy did the work, Then you have Law taking down a Yonko on top of that. Not to mention his devil fruit, which is insane as is. The immortality factor, that's still a part of it. So Law, his role in the story has just exploded. Where we thought he was having death flags, we thought he was going to die. All of a sudden now Law is a major player and a major influence within the world. So now that we have Law, and now that we have Kid, now that we have the supernova instead of the Yonko, what does that mean for the rest of the series? Well, it's obvious. The war. Elbaf is still going to go on because, Big Mom is down and out. God forbid, I don't know what Oda has in store for Big Mom. But in terms of the supernova, in terms of what's going to happen when Luffy defeats Kaido, I don't know if Zoro's going to get that final hit, but if Zoro gets that final hit on Kaido, that would be clout for Zoro to say, hey, Luffy beat Kaido and Zoro took his head. All of a sudden, now you have 4 supernova that have the clout of taking down a Yonko. Not to mention the other 3 that are roaming around Wano and a part of that situation as well. Guys, what we're about to get in the next couple of arcs are going to be centered around the supernova. We thought we had heavy focus on the supernova before. I think it's going to be even crazier than it is. I think we're going to have a lot of infighting. I think it's about time we have legitimate supernova versus supernova battles. Now, we had Killer versus Hawkins, which was cool. That's fine. But that was kind of short-lived. But are we talking about major battles where it's no longer just I'm fighting for Kaido and I'm fighting for Luffy? No, we're talking about major conflicts of interest, battle for territory, because these guys are going to go their separate ways. Kid is 100% going to go his separate ways. Kid is going to start getting territories. Law, whether he stays with Luffy or not, Law is going to start going his separate ways because Law has another agenda. What's going on with the D's? What's the true history of this world? Why did Doflamingo hate the D so much? Law is going into very dangerous territory. So if Law goes on his own and starts collecting poneglyphs, then we have issues as well. The world government's like, all right, Law, you gotta go. No, that's not happening. I see Law kind of traveling with Luffy a little bit more than that. Now, there's also still the theory of Law being a part of Sword. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And shout out to Randy Troy for that theory. It makes a lot of sense, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a little different. I have a feeling that Law is actually going to break the alliance with Luffy, and he's going to say, I'm going to do this my way. I've proven to myself that I don't need you, Straw Hat. I don't need you. I don't. Because, if I were Law, I'd say I don't need Straw Hat. I don't. Obviously it was a tag team between Big Mom and Kid, but my God, the performance that Law put out today, Law should have more confidence in himself, to be honest, and he showed it. So Law's gonna go off on his own. Apu, do we respect Apu anymore? Not really. I don't really think Apu is gonna do much, but he's probably just gonna find a way. He's gonna wheeze. He's gonna. Well, whose ass can even kick? I don't know. At this point, Apu, we just throw him to the side. Same thing with Hawkins to a degree, but Hawkins is smart, so I think he'll find his way. I think Uroge is the interesting character here. Because Uroge, we've seen what Uroge can do to a certain degree. Now, I'm assuming he's getting stronger off screen. Capone is still roaming around as well. Jewelry Bonnie still got to shake up the world. So all these guys have had a hand in what's going on in the world. So I can just see these throne wars happening. Everyone believes the throne wars is happening, but now Oda's kind of making it into a reality because he's vacated the thrones. Big Mom's throne is in jeopardy. Kaido's throne is in jeopardy. And guys, Shanks's throne is in serious jeopardy. And I'll explain why in the next discussion video. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks, and I'm out. Take care. Yo everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel. Also check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.